Hi, this is Mr. Mose. I'm going to be reading the quiz over Unit 3, Section 2, over the build-up to the Revolutionary War. For this quiz, there is 3 points per question for a total of 30 points. You must use your resources. You have 2 attempts, and those 2 attempts, if taken, will be averaged together to make up your grade for this quiz, or I'll just give you your best score. Your first name, fill that out, please. And what period do you have, Mr. Mose? And your last name as well. Number one. In this event, colonists protested by throwing valuable British materials overboard. And your choices are the Navigation Act, Proclamation Act, Currency Act, Sugar Act, or the Boston Tea Party. Question number 2. Series of laws passed by the British Parliament that imposed restrictions on colonial trade. And your options for this one: Navigation Act, Proclamation Act, Currency Act, Sugar Act, or Stamp Act. Number 3, British legislation aimed at ending the smuggling trade in sugar and molasses from the French and Dutch West Indies, and at providing increased revenues to fund British expenses. And your options here are going to be the Navigation Act, Proclamation Act, Currency Act, Sugar Act, or Stamp Act. Number 4, regulated paper money issued by the colonies of British America. The act sought to protect British merchants and creditors from being paid in depreciated colonial currency. Navigation Act, Proclamation Act, Currency Act, Stamp Act, or the Sugar Act or the Stamp Act. British soldiers opened fire on a group of American colonists, killing 5 men. Navigation Act, Proclamation Act, Currency Act, Sugar Act, or the Boston Massacre. 6, a series of laws passed by the British Parliament in 1774 relating to Britain's colonies in North America, passed in response to the British Tea Party, the Boston Tea Party, sorry. These acts sought to punish Massachusetts as a warning to other colonies. Navigation Act, Proclamation Act, Boston Massacre, Boston Tea Party, or the Coercive Act. Number 7, in response to Pontiac's rebellion, King George declared all lands west of the Appalachian Divide off limits to colonial settlers, so they could no longer settle west of the Appalachian Mountains. Navigation Act, Proclamation Act, Currency Act, Sugar Act, or Stamp Act. Number 8, this required the colonies to house British soldiers in barracks provided by the colonies. So this would force someone to house British soldiers in your house. Okay? Navigation Act, Proclamation Act, Currency Act, Sugar Act, or Quartering Act. Number 9, opposed a direct tax on the British colonies in America and required that many printed materials in the colonies be produced on stamped paper carrying an embossed revenue stamp. Navigation Act, Proclamation Act, Currency Act, Sugar Act, or Stamp Act. Number 10, this was a series of laws passed by the British government on the American colonies in 1767. They placed new taxes and took away some freedoms from the colonists, including the following: new taxes on imports of paper, paint, lead, glass, and tea. And your choices are Navigation Act, Proclamation Act, Currency Act, Stamp Act, or Townshend Acts. And again, each choice is only used once. So if you use the Boston Tea Party choice one time, that's not going to be used in another question. Okay? Secondly, any of these answers you can find in the Build Up to the Revolutionary War graphic organizer that you hopefully completed early this week. Okay, when you're done, hit submit. Okay, and then make sure that you review your answers after you're done, because you can redo it if you got a couple wrong. All right, good luck, and let me know if you need any help.